The info session is on streamlining your 2024 PiT count. Everybody knows it's 2024, and this is forthcoming in the fall, if not before, depending on your community. Before we wanted to do a Myland acknowledgement. I'm joining you from Mohkinstsis, and that's Calgary. And also just wanting to showcase the beautiful artwork in our pink theme from my friend Michael Fad, who is a Dene artist, and that is actually up in Yellowknife. So he's awesome work. If you got other artists that need to have some exposure, not that our webinars are so famous, but we always love to promote Indigenous artists as part of our reconciliation action parts. All right. So about us, I think everybody knows who we are, but just a quick one. We are a complex social needs experts, and so we do that through developing technology and data solutions. So 3 big products. One is the data analytics one, and this is the one that we'll chat about more today. But we also have an app that connects people to services that folks are looking at creating system navigation tools and things like that. And then we have Moretto, which is complementary to products like HIFIS, let's say, where you're needing to create a coordinated access system across multiple systems of care, or you just need that deeper dive in your data collection to organize workflow, organize projects, organize client work more specifically. So that's us in a nutshell. A bit into the actual work at hand around the PiT count for 2024. And I think everybody knows Reaching Home provides pretty detailed guidance. Here's their guidance. It's not for the faint of heart. The big thing is the deadlines in terms of October expiration needing to happen between October and November, and the survey October 1st to December 31st. Now, there might be updates to this guidance. This is just what's currently public knowledge. And then, of course, we know that reporting of results needs to happen, and there's some considerations from the feds in terms of what needs to be in the count. So there's core screening and core survey questions that they require all of us to adhere to. And then, of course, they've got some of their standards as well, where they encourage us to make sure that whatever we do makes sense for the local community. We try to include public systems data into our PiT count, so justice, health, etc. There's lots and lots of push around ensuring that there's alignment between PiT data and HIFIS data, and sometimes those are lined up, sometimes they're not. And working with our municipal provincial partners as well. So that's the big picture on where this is all coming from. If you're a community entity, or if you've been contracted by a community entity to develop the PiT count, there are yes, of course, I'll share the PowerPoint after, and the recording too, since I know how exciting this stuff is. But just to answer your question, Andrew, on the distinction between enumeration and survey, yeah, I mean, they've got their kind of formal rationale. The challenge, of course, is that sometimes, ideally, it would be done kind of at the same time, right? So that you're getting a true PiT count. The reality is that communities have asked for more flexibility. Some of them don't have the resources to do the survey component as well as the administrative data pull at the same time. I like to do them at the same time because I can actually cross-reference things, but and some do, right? For instance, Edmonton or all the 7 cities try to line things up at the same time, but it's not a must-have. They're giving you some flexibility. Kind of defeats some of the PiT aspect, the point in time aspect, but I think they're trying to be nimble. Yes, these are not my rules. Yeah, not my rules. I was just, now, funny enough, I was part of the rule development, 10, 20 years ago. I can't even remember when we did that work for the national PiT standards but of course things get slowly over time, the things, get looser, right, as people implement them. So there's best practice, and then there's a reality. And yes, I do not make the rules, for sure. Okay, so this is the context. We've got the PiT counts coming up in the fall of 2024. We know these are essential for understanding the scope of homelessness and planning more effective interventions. And we also know that the analysis and reporting of the data, never mind the data collection task, but the actual data coming in, making it make sense, making it into a report, making it into a community facing report, doing all of that stuff can also be time consuming, and not everybody has a data science team to do that work. So that's essentially where we came up with this concept of a PiT support package. We've done them in previous years and have been really successful, where we're essentially getting your data from you guys. So the data analysis would still, would come from you guys as the community partners that are leading that work. We can, of course, give you strategic guidance and tools and things like that if that collection part is a challenge and you're new to it. We've done 40 different PiT counts over the years at HelpSeeker in some shape or form. But in terms of the package that I've been working on with the team here is how do we get the data from you, develop that technical report, develop a community facing report, and then creating some of these online interactive digital reports as well. So just to give you that idea of what these packages look like, we pulled a couple of reports from the 2022 count. So this gives you an idea of what the technical report would look like. This is Home or Trust PiT count report. So tries to do a good job explaining everything and changes in methodology, the actual data crunching, right, as you can imagine, and descriptive analysis of that. So the basics, and that's primarily because we know we need to keep good records of what's being collected year over year. So that's full technical report. The next one, however, and I'll show you this one too, is we've also learned that communities want public-facing reports as well. So things that are a little prettier, they're briefer, they're discussing things at a higher level, and they're essentially public-facing. So this is again an example from Home or Trust, where it's not just about the PiT count, it's also let's add some context around the PiT count as well with housing trends, etc. And then the last part of the package that we wanted to show you is this digital report. And so this is a little bit new in our repertoire, because we wanted to give you guys something that you can put on your website. It can be, and by the way, everything can be branded in your brand. We don't, nobody needs to know who's behind the scenes on it. But just to show you guys what's possible with some of these newer tools. I love this one, right? Because it's really cool in terms of our ability to, go through the data and make visualizations a little bit more interesting for the public to interact with, right? So these are, again, this is fake data, by the way, so don't get too excited, but yeah, we can do some really fun interactive visualizations with the PiT data. This is to show where folks were coming from. So that's the gist of what we're envisioning in terms of what's in the package. Now we also want to make sure that things are affordable to you guys as well, and that we want to be able for you to say, hey, this makes sense, and this is going to be way cheaper than me doing it myself, right? So where we landed on pricing is $8.99 for this package that I just presented. So the PiT count analysis and reporting. Now we also said if you guys are looking at Cardo subscription, and I'll tell you what that means. We would give you that for a discount from $5,000 to $1,000 only, so that it's kind of a nice add-on to it that gives you a better deal on a Cardo subscription. And then you're going to say, well, what the heck is that? And some of you might not be familiar with what Cardo is. that we offer. So I do have a slide on this as well. Sorry, let me just, there we go. Don't worry, I'll talk about the politics after for a second. So CURDA membership, it's essentially a membership that, oops, there it looks like some things are, I got kicked out of them. There it is. So we obviously have a platform access, so our analytics platform, and I'll show you that in a second. But what's cool about it is for this $4.99 a month thing, you can also get additional tasks done essentially. So look at Help Seeker as an extension of your team. So things like, oh, this month I need a briefing, or I need a best practice scan. Okay, well, no, we can do that as well. So just to again show you how some cities have used these tickets, or how some communities. So here's one community who used a monthly ticket to develop this session on affordable housing and airdrie. Another community, let's see, wanted to look at an environmental scan. So this is Alpha House. They had a board meeting and they needed to have an environmental scan on what's happening in 2024. Another community, and sorry, there's just lots of examples, but just to give you an idea. Actually, this one I'll show you, because lots of folks might be doing strategic planning right now. So you can use a monthly ticket for your strategic plan, for instance. So here's, again, it's in your brand, it's in your words. We just look at us as folks that support you in getting work done. So hopefully that gives you an idea a little bit about the value add of, again, kind of upselling you on, okay, get your PiT count stuff taken care of, but for another $1,000, you can have us in your back pocket, if you will. So that's the $4.99 a month for something like this. So you get 12 of these deliverables. So like the things I showed you, 12 of those in a year. That usually takes care of most of your needs, we find, in terms of reports or environmental scans or strategies and things like that. But that might also be of interest if you wanted to combo things up. So yeah, if there's additional things, obviously we're here to serve. Where you, like I said, some of folks have never done a PiT count before and they need the whole thing figured out. Some of them have no idea, if where to start on data collection methods or tools. That's cool too. We can support you with any of that stuff. So happy to negotiate some add-ons. And again, you can see we're not talking hundreds of thousands of dollars or anything like that. It's very reasonably priced. And that's it, guys. We'll kind of open it up to you guys for questions, and I'm happy to just because I thought those pictures didn't load up from the deck. If folks wanted to see what's in the CURDA analytics part, the analytics platform too, I can pull that up if folks are interested. But I'll pause and see what your questions are. So you guys are all unmuted. Oh, hi, Robert. I just saw you were here.
Hi, Lena.
Hi. Any questions? And it's all good if you want to take it offline too.
I just have one question. You mentioned that the comparative analysis to previous years would be an add-on. To me, wouldn't that be like a basic part of the PiT count to compare to previous years?
Depends how extensive it is. So some folks wanted to go back like to the beginning of time, right? So within reason, absolutely. So if you have data that you've been collecting year after year and you need to show that chart, the trends chart, and if you have to show the changes from year over year, then absolutely. But there's, if folks want to go beyond that, and we've had communities that said to us, can you do a correlation analysis or a coefficient analysis to see what the, I don't know, employment trajectory has been for for the last 20 years of PiT. So within reason, absolutely, it's in the report, and I think I showed you guys the report from Homeward Trust that has absolutely that's within the scope. It's just we want to make sure, you know, we keep the thing to like 60 pages, because we can, you know, this thing can balloon to 200 pages, and then we're not able to offer it at that low cost if we don't contain some of the tasks really well. But within reason, absolutely part of that basic package.
Okay, that's perfect. Thanks for the explanation.
You bet. You bet. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, we've got. Do you really need the data delivered by the PiT count module? We need the data as a CSV or an Excel file. Yeah. Some communities are using the HIFIS PiT count, which you can download things into a CSV format. Some of them are using SurveyMonkey. Don't care. We just need the data given to us in a kind of machine readable format, aka an Excel file is the basic requirement. Yeah, there you go. Makes sense. If you guys do need support on the kind of, not configuration, but if you need some assistance on HIFIS data collection stuff, we've got experience on that too, and on the data transferred to the feds. If you're having any challenges on that, we can give you some advice as part of this too. But I think most people are familiar with that. Okay. Right. Any other Q&As? Means I did a good job explaining it, right? Yep. Okay. Cool. Well, I'm gonna let y'all get back to your important tasks at hand. I will make a plug for our next knowledge leadership webinar. So this is where we chat with experts in community around emerging trends. And so this one is, if you're working with children and youth, especially with education systems as well, this one's going to be possibly really interesting to you. February 28th. Sorry, I put everything in MST, just my bias from Calgary. But this one's going to be featuring folks that are working specifically on child sexual abuse prevention. So the Sheldon Kennedy Center for Excellence is going to be their Kids Help Phone, as well as the Langley School Board. So a different type of audience where it's not me talking, it's folks that are in the field doing some real world applications and some of their efforts. So an interesting one. And this is again a Michael Fatt. This is the counterpart of the mother bear, the baby. So there you go. Awesome. So let's see, one more chat. Homeward Trust PIC count report public. You know what? I don't know that they put it on their website. So are you interested in giving that a read, Debbie? Is that, if so, then we can send you a copy of their permission. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah, maybe we'll take that away, Trav. Okay. Excellent. Well, if there's no additional questions, I'm happy you guys came. Hopefully you got some good ideas, and yeah, would love to support you guys in this work. I think it's an important effort, and I think this year is going to be specifically interesting, mostly because of those very different contexts that we're working with politically, right? So the encampment reports, the various public controversies, it's going to make this PIT count specifically you know, a hot topic for sure, much more than previous years, I would venture. Okay, thanks everybody. Have a good one.